Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. As you can see, Sean McVay and the Rams released the list of coaches, offense, defense, special teams. Looks great. We know there was some. We know that Nate Chillhouse went from passing game coordinator to offensive coordinator, which is a solid and great move. And we know that the Rams hired Cliff Kingsbury to come in, and we knew it was going to be for the offensive side of the ball. Now we know he's the assistant head coach. And as I look down the roster of coaches, there's one that caught my eye. It's really significant. And I don't really think people understand how significant and how important this hire is. And I think really people really need to understand. And if you would have said a week ago, 2 weeks ago, you would think that it was Cliff Kingsbury, but it's not. If it was a week ago, and you see that Nate Chillhouse never took a head coaching job, you would think it was Nate Chillhouse. It's not. There's one guy there in particular that Rams fans know way too well, all too well. And I think it's very important to highlight that. But before I mention his name, let me take you back a couple of episodes where I talk about Puka Nacua and just some of the off the field stuff he's been doing that's been a distraction. And nothing to the nature of him being in the news in a negative way or anything like that. It's just he's doing a lot of yapping, he's doing a lot of bumping his gums, he's doing a lot of talking, and he shouldn't be. Talking about Sam Darnold, the guy just won the Super Bowl. Got no business talking about a guy that just won the Super Bowl. It sounds stupid. And then you go and talk about a guy who's always quiet, always to himself, and Myles Garrett, like you got no business talking about that man whatsoever. And there's been some things, with the podcaster during the regular season and so on and so forth, right? But one thing I had in that episode is surprisingly, I got a lot of positive feedback, and I honestly didn't expect that. I got a lot of Rams fans that really agreed with the takes and with my takes and some of the things that I said. And then a couple Cowboy fans, that kind of like, yeah, they kind of understand where me and some of the other Rams fans that feel like me, they know where we're coming from because they had to deal with the whole Micah Parsons situation. And then you had a lot of Seahawk fans just kind of come in and just kind of put their 2 cents in, and not so much in a negative way, you know what I mean, but just kind of like, yes, things like that. He's just, they basically agree, like, yeah, he's basically saying he's a great talent, but he just got to keep his mouth shut. There's no business talking about a guy that just won a Super Bowl. It's stupid. It makes no sense. The one thing that gets kind of annoying is the fact that a lot of these guys are comparing, Puka Nacua to JSN. Look, man, one of them's a 5th-round pick, the other one's the first-round pick. You got a 5th-round pick being in the same conversation. You got a 5th-round pick being in the same conversation with a bunch of first-rounders. That lets you know that this kid is special, first and foremost. But I don't want to go off course here. So that entire topic and conversation was about Puka Nacua and just some of the off the field stuff he's been doing. It's just in regards to him talking. So when I look at the list of head coaches that are there and were hired, one really, really kind of like got my attention. If you go back prior to Cooper Kupp being released by the Rams, he was a very intricate part of Puka Nacua's growth and was very instrumental in Puka Nacua, right? You can see it in the play. You can see it with the effort. It's the same type of effort. Puka Nacua is giving you the same type of effort that Cooper Kupp was giving. You can see it, right? So he was very important to him. Now, why do I bring this up? Because one of the coaches on this coaching staff was hired as the assistant wide receivers coach, and that's the one and only Robert Woods, aka OG Bobby Trees. Let me tell you how significant that is. Because just as important as Cooper Kupp was to Puka Nacua, Robert Woods was very important to Cooper Kupp and Cooper Kupp's growth as a professional, as a route runner, as a blocker, and how to conduct yourself on and off the field as a professional. That was Robert Woods. And this is what Robert Woods can do for Puka Nacua. This is how important that hire is. We as Rams fans, especially since the whole Puka Nacua situation, all we talk about is there needs to be a veteran in that locker room outside of just something like Matthew Stafford and Devontae Adams. And here you got a guy. Here you bring in a guy in Robert Woods. He's a great route runner, great hands, smart, a blocker, but also knows how to conduct himself on and off the field, and is outside of Andrew Whitworth was a Robert Woods was a very important piece and a very important puzzle to that Rams offense and in that locker room. And this is what Robert Woods brings to this table as the assistant wide receivers coach. Is Yarber still there? Yes, he is. But Yarber can help with some of those things that are on the field. Robert Woods can help with not just those things on the field, but off the field, and help navigate and teach Puka how to be a professional on and off the field. I think people really need to understand how important that hire is. It's very important. To me, that's the hire that I don't think anybody's really talking about. They just see the name and they know it's Robert Woods. That's all they see. Oh, Robert Woods, he's one of the coaches. But they're not looking at that significant impact that Robert Woods can have, not just on this wide receiver core, not just on Puka Nacua, but that entire locker room, because he's been there. He's been in that offense. He knows that organization. He's been under that head coach. That's significant. That's a very, very, very important hire. To me, that is the biggest hire the Rams made outside of bringing in Cliff Kingsbury. Sorry, that was a tongue twister for me. But people need to understand that's very, very important. That's an important hire right there. I'm excited, man. I'm super excited. And then the draft is coming up in a few months. We'll see what they do. Do they draft Makai Lemon at number 13 and take a DB with the second first round pick? Do they go DB and trade that second pick in the first round? Nonetheless, I trust what this organization does. I trust Les. I trust Sean with the whole drafting process. They've proven it. But let me know what you think in the comments section about Robert Woods being a significant piece, a significant hire for the Rams and that locker room, and to kind of help, remold, if you will, Puka Nacua, and turn him into the professional that we know that he's capable of being. Rams fans ain't giving up on him. That's not what I'm saying. My last episode was not me giving up on him whatsoever. My last episode was more about, come on, you got to be better. You're going to cost yourself money. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comments section. about Robert Woods being a significant hire. Let me know if you actually thought about those things as well. Hit that subscribe, like, and notify button. And I'll catch you guys on another episode. Until then, you already know what it is. Horns up. Let's go Rams.